Hey everybody, what's going on? Welcome to Odds for the Throne. I am your host, the real Geno Reynolds, and today I'm going to tell you who I think is going to be sitting on the Iron Throne at the end of the final season of Game of Thrones. Now, I do have a bit of criteria. What I'm basing my pick on is one of 20 people. These 20 people were the 20 characters that they put on posters for promotional materials. 20 posters, 20 characters sitting on the Iron Throne. I'm going to tell you in order who I think is the least likely to get the throne, all the way up onto who is going to get the throne. I'm also going to reveal if I think the characters are either going to live or die, and maybe if they die, who's going to kill them, or if they live, what's going to happen to them after the show. Now, I do have to cover a few things first, because there's characters that were left out, and another thing I need to talk about first is the Funko conspiracy. Funko, as you can see here, released 5 different characters sitting on the throne. They have toys for Cersei Lannister, Jon Snow, Tyrion Lannister, the Night King, and Daenerys Targaryen, all on the Iron Throne. Now, obviously, those 5 are pretty obvious picks if you think about popularity of characters and things like that. So that may be why they did that. I'm kind of hoping, in a way, that they don't know, or they know something. I don't want them to know something that we don't know. I don't think they do. I think they just said, well, these 5 characters are popular. Now, will one of these 5 characters win the throne in this countdown? You have to wait and see. But I do want to talk about some characters that were left off of these posters. Now, some of these characters, I'm just bringing them up, don't have any chance at the throne, but some of them do. Some of them that don't have any chance are characters like Beric Dondarrion, the leader of the Brotherhood Without Banners. This is a character that's died many times, and now that Thoros, his Red Priest, is gone, he's probably going to die fighting the White Walkers. It's not really... If he survives, I will be really surprised. But, I mean, he's died, 5 or 6 times, I think they counted, whenever the Hound killed him. And he got brought back, and he's like, how many times has it been? 5 or 6. So I think now that his priest is gone, he's gonna die heroically fighting the White Walkers. He may even save the life of Tormund Giantsbane, because they're together when the finale of the last season happened. Next is the Blackfish, Brynden Tully. Now, most of you are probably like saying, well, he's dead. They said he was dead. Well, is he really dead? Well, probably. But here's the thing. I haven't seen a body. Now, would he get the throne even if he was alive? No. But I have not seen a body, so the soldier that told Jaime that he was dead may have been lying. He may have got away. Then you look at characters like Jaqen Hagar, one of the Faceless Men. Now, of course, he's not going to get the throne because he's a Faceless Man. Now, I do think he's going to live, though, but here's the thing. I mean, can he really die? I mean, he's nobody. Then you got characters like Tormund Giantsbane. Again, a character we don't know if he's dead or not. He was at the wall when the Night King blasted through with his dragon. I don't think he's dead yet. Again, haven't seen a body. And I do think he will survive. He will fight and help win against the Night King. And also, I think he'll take part and who, at least in part, of who will get the throne. And a little teaser here. Could there be love in his future? Next is Sir Gregor Clegane, the Mountain. Look, of course he wouldn't get the throne. He is linked to Cersei Lannister. But I do think he will die in this show at the hands of 2 characters. And we'll talk about those 2 characters in a bit. Next is Hodor. Look, again, is he dead? Probably, but just like the Blackfish, I didn't see a body. Though I'd love to think that he survived the White Walkers somehow when he was holding the door. I do think we are going to see him again, but he's going to be a White Walker, and that's going to be really sad. Next is Robin Aaron, Robin of the Vale. I'm curious if he'll ever even be useful in this series. I have a feeling, I just have this gut feeling he's going to do something important. I do think he'll live, but if he does die, he's going through that moon door. I mean, because he's wanted to see everyone fly. He's going to fly if he dies. But I have a feeling he's going to do, it may not be, slay the Night King, but he may do something lucky. Fire an arrow good once and kill someone to save someone's life or something like that. Next is Yara Greyjoy, the rightful queen of the Iron Islands. In the end, I think she will survive and she will take her place on the Salt Throne. We'll talk about how that happens when we get into the countdown. Now there's some characters that actually could have a chance at the throne, albeit a very, very small one. Characters like Lyanna Mormont, the young head of House Mormont. Now, I really do think, just think about it, how intimidating she would be as the Queen of Westeros. That being said, her place at the end of the series will probably be to stay the head of House Mormont. Then you got characters like Bronn, Sellsword, the highest bidder, one of my favorite characters, which right now the highest bidder is Queen Cersei Lannister. His future is probably one of the more complicated ones to predict. Think about it. You always wonder, will he get his castle and bride that was promised to him multiple times in the series? Will he continue to fight for money for the highest bidder? Or will he end up doing what's right? I do feel that Bronn will live in the end. I really went back and forth on this one. But I do think he will live at the end. But I can't really reveal what I think his future is until later in the video because it involves other characters. There is a rumor, though, that Jerome Flynn, the actor that plays Bronn, let slip that his character does die in the show. But honestly, I don't believe it, even if he said it, because he could have just been pulling people's chains. If he were to give it up, maybe he did. I don't know. The show isn't out yet, but I don't know. I just don't know if I buy it. I won't believe it till I see it. Then you got Gendry, bastard son of the late King Robert Baratheon. While he was the rightful heir to the throne after Robert was killed, in the end, I don't think he would want anything to do with it. I do think he is going to survive the show, and he'll become a rich and famous blacksmith and live out his days as a happy guy. Then we have Podrick Payne, wannabe knight, squire to a few different characters in this show, and legendary lover. I saved the best theory for these characters that weren't on the posters for last. The best theory is, I think Pod has a secret. Have you ever noticed, and I'll flash up this picture again, have you ever noticed that Pod looks an awful lot like Gendry? I feel that Pod is also a bastard son of Robert Baratheon. I will say, though, that even if he is, Pod would have no ambition to be king. I think he'll live, but again, I'll have to wait and talk about what his future holds later because, again, it involves other characters. Okay, so now we're going to get into the 20 different characters. Again, there was 20 posters that HBO released promoting this final season. 20 characters sitting on the Iron Throne on 20 different posters. So here we go. Number 20, Brandon Stark, the three-eyed raven. He's already admitted that he's not even Brandon Stark anymore. He's the three-eyed raven. He doesn't even feel human. So I feel he has no ambition whatsoever for the throne. Where a lot of these characters, I'd probably say the same thing, but for the sake of Brandon, I mean, he just doesn't even feel like he's on this plane of existence anymore. I do think he will be instrumental in defeating the Night King, and he will live, and he will live out his days north of the Wall, taking his place as the Three-Eyed Raven within the tree. And I have this weird thought that the Max von Sydow character and Brandon Stark are the same person as some kind of time paradox thing, because it almost feels, Brandon Stark almost feels like Dr. Manhattan from Watchmen, where he feels like he's in all places, in all times. That's just what he reminds me of. And I think he is the Max von Sydow character, and he is kind of living an endless loop of having to train himself to be the Three-Eyed Raven. So Brandon Stark is number 20. Number 19 is Samuel Tarly. Now, Samuel Tarly lives to serve, not like as a slave, but he wants to help his friends, and he knows he's not a leader. He knows that he's a good sidekick, and he's happy with that. So, of course, there's no ambition for the throne there. I do think... See, here's the thing with Sam. I wanted to say that he would finish his training to become the Maester for Castle Black. But here's the thing. I don't see Castle Black changing their rules. So I do feel that instead of returning to the Night's Watch, I think that since the Night's Watch wouldn't change the rules and let him be with Gilly and Little Sam, I think he will abandon the Night's Watch and run off with Gilly, who will become his wife, and his son Sam, never to be seen again. But here's the thing, the Night's Watch will continue to search for him. They're just going to kind of honor him and just let him go because of all he did to help in the defeat of the Night King. I mean, he discovered the dragon glass and all that stuff. So he is a hero, and they're just going to let him go. Next is number 18, Grey Worm. Grey Worm, though free, former slave, unsullied, former slave was freed, but he decided to serve his queen, Daenerys Targaryen, instead. And he's just going to be... They're going to play up his story with Missandei a little bit. But I have a feeling that Grey Worm will die protecting Missandei somehow. I don't know who is going to, what fight it's going to be in, whether it be against the White Walkers or whether it be against King's Landing. But I do feel he is going to die trying to protect Missandei. Number 17 is Missandei. And the reason I put them together right next to each other and Missandei one step ahead is because with Missandei, Grey Worm admitted that she is his weakness. So that puts him one step back. Missandei, though, same as Grey Worm, she lives to help Queen Daenerys win the throne. And I do feel that also she is going to die. Not when Grey Worm was trying to protect her, but betrayed by someone higher up on this list. And I can't reveal it, but I will tell you this later. Next is number 16, Melisandre, the Red Woman, Priestess of R'hllor. Now, she's had a very controversial character arc in her, or in Game of Thrones. Last we saw her, she was being banished from the North by Davos and Jon Snow for murdering a child for the sake of R'hllor. Now, that's the thing, though. I think she knows she did wrong now, and even though she was told not to return to the North, she will return to help against the Night King. But that being said, Her night will be dark and full of terrors when she is finally punished for her choices by the next person on the list. That being said, she will willingly accept her end. She knows that she deserves the punishment that she is going to get. And that punishment will be served out by, of course, number 15, Sir Davos Seaworth, the Onion Knight. He, again, has no ambition for the throne. He is Jon Snow's right-hand man, just kind of like Missandei is kind of the right hand of Daenerys. Sir Davos will, again, fulfill his promise and execute Melisandre after the battle against the Night King is over. And again, she will willingly accept her end. She's not going to try to fight her, and she's going to be like, I deserve this. And she'll probably take off the necklace and show her old self, and he'll behead her. That being said, he will live in the end, but I will reveal his future later in the video as well. Again, tied to other characters. Number 14, Euron Greyjoy, usurper of the Salt Throne of the Iron Islands. Last we saw him, we thought he was running away from the White Walkers because they can't swim, but it turns out that Cersei sent him away to pick an army up for her. So he's going to do that. Now here's the thing, he's going to succeed, and he will get to marry Queen Cersei. I do feel that he is going to die, and it will be in the throne room fighting two people, Yara Greyjoy, his niece, and the next person on our list. Number 13, Theon Greyjoy, the only living son of the late Lord Balon Greyjoy, and the former plaything of Ramsay Bolton Reek. His characters, I think his arc is pretty well happened. He was forgiven and accepted by Jon Snow, and he finally feels whole again. And by the end of the show, he'll definitely feel whole again, minus a few bits and pieces, if you know what I mean. That being said, I do feel he is going to die by the end of the show. He will die heroically, though, as he will die helping Yara kill their uncle Euron. Number 12 is Ser Jorah Mormont. Now, I would like to think he has some, like to think he has his eyes on the throne, but he really only has his eyes on one thing. That's his queen. He lives only to serve Queen Daenerys, the woman he loves. Now, he has already regained her trust, and that being said, I feel he's going to regain his honor in the land of Westeros while protecting her, dying in the process. Because, I mean, if you think about it this way, if he survived and she got the throne, he would be Captain Friend Zone forever. And we can't have that. I just see him dying to protect her. I think that would be the one thing that would let him die with a smile on his face, other than getting to be with her, of course. Number 11, Brienne of Tarth. Now, just like a lot of the people on this list, she lives to serve someone else. She serves the Starks, and I feel that she's going to live, and she will be a hero of all the battles that take place during the final season, and will keep serving the Starks, specifically the person that takes over Winterfell. See what I did there? Person. As the show ends, while many think that she could end up with Jaime or Tormund romantically, I don't feel that these things will happen. Now, number 10, the Hound, Sandor Clegane, my favorite character of the series. A bit of a side note, when I was at Indiana Comic-Con and I met Rory McCann, this was while the Hound was dead, and I talked to him and I'm like, man, you're my favorite character on that show. And it's like, look, I know you can't tell me anything, but I don't think you're dead. And he kind of had a smile on his face. I was like, I knew it. And then, of course, when the Hound shows back up, I'm I was very excited for that episode. One of my favorites. I love the fact that he got a stinger before the opening credits, showing that he was still alive. I feel that while it would be cool to see him on the Iron Throne, because look at the picture. It looks awesome. I think that he will help the next person on the list to kill his brother, the Mountain. He's one of the two people I mentioned earlier. And though originally I thought he would die in this battle, helping to kill the Mountain, I do feel now that his character is going to live, and he'll end up becoming sort of like Ian McShane's character, Brother Ray, finally having found peace after the death of his brother. Plus, with the fact that he's having visions and stuff when he looks into the fire, I could see him finding a little bit of religion. Now, if he does die in the fight against the Mountain, I won't be too surprised. But my pick is that he is going to live. Number 9 is Arya Stark. She and the Hound will kill the Mountain together. Because, look, long story short, you have to get the team back together at least once. Now, in the end, her kill list will be complete, but she won't be the one that gets to kill all of them. There's a few that I don't think that other people will get to, if those people even die. But I do believe her list, at least for the most part, will be complete, but not by her hand totally. I do feel that she will survive the end of the series, and instead of staying in Winterfell, she will leave once again to become one of the Faceless Men. In a way, I don't think she's going to be going back to Braavos, or if she does, it will be to complete training, but she's not going to stay with the Faceless Men. I have a feeling that Arya is going to be, I'll call it a traveling Faceless Man. She will travel the world righting wrongs as a quote-unquote Faceless Man. That's how I see Arya. I don't see her becoming a Lady of Winterfell. I don't see her becoming a knight. I see her becoming a traveling Avenger, and that is one of the coolest endings I think you could get in this show. Number 8, Sir Jaime Lannister, the Kingslayer. We last saw him. Cersei went back on her word, saying she was going to help in the fight against the Night King and the White Walkers, and he left. So I have a feeling he will be a big help in the fight against the Night King. But I also feel that he's going to have a big part of who gets the throne at the end. I do feel he is going to die in the end, but here's the catch. He's going to kill himself, and I'll explain why in a bit. Number 7 is the Night King, the leader of the White Walker army. Here's the kicker about the Night King. He won't even be the biggest threat of the season. I know this whole time it's like the army of the dead are the biggest threat. I don't see the Night King surviving episode 5. There's 6 episodes in the final season. I don't see him surviving episode 5. I don't think he's going to be the biggest threat. He is going to be a big threat, but he will not be the biggest threat. His army, I don't even feel will make it inside the walls of King's Landing. They may make it to the walls, but I don't think they'll make it into the walls. But here's the thing with the Night King anyway. He just wants to destroy everything. He's not looking to sit in the throne. I almost put him at number 20, but I could see him, killing who's ever on the throne and sitting there just to prove a point. That's why he made it a little higher on the list. I do feel he is going to die at the hands of a major character, and I will reveal that in a bit. Number 6 is Sansa Stark, the Lady of Winterfell at the conclusion of the last season anyway. Now, many think that she is going to become the queen. I don't. I do see her being a big part of keeping the North together in this whole battle against the White Walkers. And I do see her surviving and staying the Lady of Winterfell. Now, to go back on the list a little bit, Brienne of Tarth will be her sworn protector in the end. Number 5, Jon Snow, a.k.a. Aegon Targaryen. He will play a big part in the battle against the Night King. He will fight the Night King dragon versus dragon and sword to sword. It's going to be probably one of the most epic battles of the whole series, and he will be the one that kills the Night King. I do think, though, and I've got 2 different theories on this, he's going to die trying to take the throne room at King's Landing. My wild guess is it's going to be at the hands of the Mountain, trying to protect Cersei. My strange guess is that it's going to be at the hands of Daenerys, because she thinks he is trying to take the throne from her. So I got 2 different theories there. I'm not sure which one. I couldn't decide, so I figured I'd throw both of them out there. But the reason I think he's going to die is that he died already, and he acted like it was a strange thing that he was still there, that he was back. And I just think that, like Beric, it's going to weigh on him. Number 4, Daenerys Targaryen. The obvious choice, by the way. A lot of people think she's going to win because they've been saying she's going to win the entire time. I don't. But let me see if I can get this right. I'm going to read it. I have to read it off the screen here because there's a lot here. Daenerys Targaryen. Daenerys Stormborn of House Targaryen, rightful heir to the Iron Throne, rightful queen of the Andals and the First Men, protector of the Seven Kingdoms, the mother of dragons, the Khaleesi of the Great Green Sea, the Unburnt, the Breaker of Chains, and the collector of nicknames. Again, she was the safe choice to get the throne, and I think she's going to get close. Here's the thing, though. I think she will not win because she's going to be betrayed and killed by the wild card pick on my list, and that is number 3, Lord Varys, the Spider. Look, he is my wild card pick to win the throne. Even though he seems like he can be trusted right now, he can't. Think about it. I think he still has eyes on the throne and will do anything to get it, including betraying and killing Daenerys. I see him slitting her throat. That being said, he's not going to survive much long after that because he is going to be killed by Drogon, who will see his mother dead and will utterly annihilate Varys after he sees the sight of her not moving. Now, number 2, Queen Cersei Lannister. Look, long story short, she's a gangster, and she has been through a lot during the series and will do anything to keep her power, especially since she's lost everything else. She's lost her children, which was everything to her. She was shamed, by the church. In the end, that being said, she will die at the hands of Cersei Lannister. And here's how I think it's going to happen. He will have to make the choice to kill her after she threatens to level King's Landing using the wildfire that is stashed underneath the city. I feel that she's going to feel cornered, and she's going to say, well, if I can't have it, no one will, and want the wildfire ignited. And Jaime is going to have to kill the only woman he's ever loved. He's going to have to not only be the Kingslayer, but a Queenslayer as well. And after having done this, now he's lost all of his children, and he's not only lost the only person he's ever loved, but his unborn child. He is going to take his own life. And that leaves the top person on the list to take the throne. Number 1, Tyrion Lannister, the Imp. Now, while I feel that he will be a reluctant ruler, he will take on the responsibility. I'm not sure how he's going to get there. I think it's just he's going to be surrounded by dead bodies, and he may be the only best choice. I don't know. Heck, there may not even be an Iron Throne. I have a theory that it's going to get melted by Dragonfire. But I do feel that Tyrion is going to take the throne. Again, it's not going to be something he's want or ever desired, but he is going to take the throne. I do feel that Sir Davos will, his future will be taking over the Royal Navy. I do feel that he will give Bronn Casterly Rock, that, finally fulfilling the promise, giving him his castle. I don't know who he'll marry. I thought it was going to be one of the Sand Snakes, but they're dead. He will also finally knight Podrick Payne and make him the head of the Kingsguard. He will also be the one that informs Pod that his father is the late King Robert, but Pod will tell him to keep it a secret. And another theory I had for Bronn is that Bronn might be the Hand of the King. I was going to pick Jaime as Hand of the King, but I do think Jaime is going to kill himself out of grief. So Bronn might be Hand of the King. I don't know. I do think that Tyrion, they'll show that he will be a good king, but he will also be a smart king, knowing that even now he will have to prepare, whether it be for his generation or for generations ahead, for the next long winter. And that is how I think the show is going to end. Thank you guys so much for joining me for Odds for the Throne. I hope you've had as much fun watching it as I had putting it together. As always, I'm your host, the real Geno Reynolds. See you next time.